Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now February 20th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how they're going to handle things moving forward into the future. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about The Rise of Skywalker is that this was a very difficult production. Kathleen Kennedy said this, J.J. Abrams, Bob Iger, Mary Ann Brandon, Chris Terrio, and so on and so forth. A lot of actors and actresses on board. So this movie ran through a lot of adjustments, a lot of changes, if you will, not just during 2019 last year, but also in late 2018. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there were two phases of reshoots and rewrites. One in, of course, November and December of 2018, and the second phase, which was the more significant one, was, of course, August, September, and October of last year. So, when we examine what Disney and Lucasfilm has done to the sequel trilogy, a lot of changes were made to The Rise of Skywalker. In fact, the initial cut of the movie was in or around 4 hours and 20-something minutes and change. Now, the thing about that is that would have really opened the doors to a lot of possibilities of what the characters in this movie could have done, such as Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren, Palpatine, and more, and how that really would have looked like on the big screen would have really, I think, shocked the audience. Now, with that being said, what's really intriguing about all of this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with the Skywalker saga, they are moving on to their new Star Wars universe as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films to evolve the franchise into something unique for the fans and the Star Wars community. However, many fans have been very curious about what could have been before the reshoots and the rewrites of the film by Disney and Lucasfilm for Episode 9. Many of the adjustments by Kathleen Kennedy led to a series of deleted scenes, where one of which included a segment that would have included Kylo Ren traveling to a mysterious world located over in the unknown regions, just near the world of Exegol. Now, it's said that in the initial cut of the film, Palpatine orders Ren to head over to this planet to confront his greatest fears and elements of his past, where one of the scenes involved both Adam Driver and Mark Hamill in a sequence where Kylo Ren would enter a crystal cave of some kind, where he would begin to hear the voice of Luke Skywalker reaching out to him. However, the voice of Luke is not his Force ghost in this scenario. It's a vision of Luke that eventually appears in front of Ren, where Luke would ignite Ben Solo's blue lightsaber to reflect Ben Solo's light side, and both Kylo Ren and Luke would engage in a battle within the dark, mysterious cave, in a very fast-paced lightsaber duel that mimicked the prequel trilogy fights. At one point in time, it said that Luke Skywalker force pushes Kylo Ren into a wall, where the stone would actually begin to crumble over Ben's head, and that the Luke vision would actually taunt Kylo Ren. Both Ren and Luke Skywalker would duel once more, where Kylo is able to strike the vision of Luke, where as this happens, Luke's vision reminds Kylo about Han Solo's death again. So let's tap into a little bit about this. Now, the thing about The Rise of Skywalker is that there were really a lot of scenes in here that I think would have really made the trilogy, would have really fixed the Star Wars trilogy, if you will. And when we look at everything related to what Luke was going to do in Episode 9 in comparison to what he actually did in the final version of the movie, you can see how minuscule of a role Mark Hamill really had in Episode 9, right? He's just a Force ghost. He catches Rey's lightsaber, the Skywalker saber, I should say, catches it, teaches her a lesson, and that's, well, basically it. In fact, Luke as a Force ghost, I think could have even been done in a better way compared to how he was going to be treated in the initial cut of the movie. Now, this particular scenario, this deleted scene in specifics here, is actually a vision of Luke that actually fights Kylo Ren. This was JJ's original version of the Dark Rey scene, where that eventually turned into the Dark Rey sequence in the second Death Star wreckage, where she goes into that little, area that's all dark, almost like as if it's a cave. So, very interesting here, the fact that Luke Skywalker was fighting Kylo Ren with Ben Solo's lightsaber to kind of give him a little bit of a reflection of who he really is, or who he once was, right? To remind Ben that this is who you are. So, it's a very interesting thing here that the Luke vision was going to taunt Kylo Ren, was actually going to talk to Kylo. You could see where the Dark Rey sequences kind of picked up from that, how Dark Rey talks to regular Rey and says, don't be afraid of who you really are. If you look at the Empire Strikes Back vision sequence, Darth Vader doesn't really talk to Luke at all. That's not really a thing. So you can see where J.J. Abrams got the idea from. It was from the initial cut of the movie between both Luke and Kylo Ren fighting inside of this mysterious crystal cave. The thing that really kind of makes me very curious here is exactly what planet did this take place on? Now, it's said that this world took place some, distance near the world of Exegol over in the unknown regions, and that's pretty much all we know, is that it had a crystal cave on that world. Now, could these very well be kyber crystals? That's a big question open on the table for discussion. That's a big possibility. Of course, the unknown regions has a lot of possibilities as far as worlds and different species and creatures, you name it. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.